Figured I'd jump on here and spend a few moments with you to just talk about what sobriety is and some of the more personal stories, and maybe hear some of your personal stories and engage in this process. I'm probably going to hang out for a few moments and wait for a few people to trickle in. Until then, just enjoy the scenery behind me and my beautiful self and what this means to be sober. I am going to go over here and look at this and go there. There we go. It helps me to have my chat on down here on my computer so that I can pay attention to you up there. What's happening? The thing about sobriety that a lot of people really don't understand is it has very little to do with the drugs and alcohol and everything to do with what we're trying to escape from or cope with or to even feel better, to be honest with you. But usually it's a combination of those things. And most people, they just see the drugs or the alcohol. They don't really understand what's behind the scenes. I think of it like the Wizard of Oz. In the Wizard of Oz, you had that scene where Dorothy and Toto and Scarecrow and Tin Man and the Cowardly Lion came back with the broom. They had killed the Wicked Witch and they got her broom, which was supposed to be their ticket home. And they show up back at the palace and they get in back into the room, and the great wizard, all these smoke and this the whole effects are going on. Hey, welcome in. And I'm talking a little bit about addiction and really understanding it a little bit more clearly. I'm glad you joined me. Welcome in. My name's Lance Wright. I'm an addiction recovery specialist, and I'm talking about sobriety tonight. But not just about drugs and alcohol, but what's behind it and what fuels it, and that it isn't just alcohol and drugs that people are addicted to. Thank you for your likes. Appreciate it. Hey, Brittany, welcome. Appreciate your support and showing up. Wow, we got some people showing up tonight. What I want to do is I want to talk about sobriety. And I don't want to talk about addiction in the form of just drugs and alcohol, but as a mindset that we get trapped in. People are addicted to a lot more than drugs or alcohol. Excuse me. Get some tea right here. Bought me a fancy teacup the other day. Wow. Hello, let me check this out over here. Congratulations, New Hope. Blessings to you, man. I appreciate you. Thank you, Abigail, for your support and yams. It's amazing sobriety. Hey, if you can do this for me while you're here, go in and post your sobriety date. Let's try to see how many years we can get on here tonight. You know, I've been sober a long time, but I'm going to wait until the end to share my sober date because my life is amazing as a result of recovery and sobriety and good people just like you. Thank you, Yams. So I want to go start this story over. Hopefully, you'll roll with me. If after 5 minutes I bore you, I'm sorry, but it's special to me. When I'm working with folks like us, I'm an addiction specialist. I work in treatment centers and with families and loved ones to help them navigate this stuff because most of us just don't know what the hell to do. Um, well, there's always hope, brother. Message me or DM me at info at lifeoveraddiction.com, and we'll start a conversation and see if we can't get you sober. But there's no sign in this room that says you have to be sober to show up. You just show up. And if we can help you get sober, God bless. If not, we're here for you anyway. That's what they were for me. And it took me many years to get it. So I hope you might hear something that helps you. But back to this story, addiction. We all think it's about the drugs and alcohol and external things that people see. But just like in The Wizard of Oz, when the wizard sent Dorothy and Toto and Scarecrow and the Tin Man and the Cowardly Lion out to get the witch's broom as a key to help them go home, wherever home was, and to give them a heart and a brain and courage. So they went out on this crazy mission, this impossible mission, flying monkeys, the Wicked Witch, just insane. And most of you, if you remember that movie, it was a really pivotal moment in that movie for Dorothy and the crew. And they somehow fluked out, killed the witch, got the broom, came back to the palace. They walk in the room and they're like, all the wizard's bells and whistles and smoke and alarms and loud bangs were going off. And wow, everybody bailed out on me. Okay, well, I'm here. And so in that process, they're like, well, what are you going to do? And I guess what was going on is that the wizard didn't know what to do. He didn't have a solution. He had bravado. He was addicted to this image and this illusion to find a place in this community that he didn't have a place. It wasn't his world, as we found out later in the story. And so he comes back in, and the little dog Toto, if you remember right, goes over and pulls the curtain back. And there's this old man behind the curtain pulling all these levers, trying to create all these illusions. And he looked at these people who he just sent to retrieve the broom in The Wizard of Oz, and they said, ignore the man behind the curtain. And for those of us in recovery, from whatever we're recovering from, it could be anything. The real work is getting behind the curtain to start to deal with the man or woman within and to heal those places that have not been touched and have been avoided, pushed away, buried, obliterated with drugs and alcohol and running. Those are the things that we need to really go after in treatment, in recovery. And we don't necessarily need a treatment center. Treatment centers are great, and I'm not going to take away from them, but oftentimes you might be able to just get it with the help of somebody like myself or another coach or mentor or an addiction recovery specialist. Maybe even just go to a meeting. I mean, some people are opposed to that. That's why some of us exist in the gap and maybe even more. But there's help available, and we can look within. I see people chiming in on me. That's okay. I'm going to keep rolling. And so at some point, addiction, we have to look within and see that addiction is something that's been formed over time. Are you addicted to a thought? Are you going through a struggle right now? What's your struggle? I can't see the names. You know, I should write to YouTube so I can kind of have your names. If you're checking in, shoot a post to me. Let me know you're here. Appreciate you stopping by. If you have any friends or loved ones that struggle with alcohol or substance abuse or addiction in general or pain or just struggles, that's what I'm here for tonight. And if you are sober and you are on a path of recovery, please put your years sober in the chat box, and let's start celebrating some positivity in this world. I didn't think I would ever be sober. 32 years ago, when March 11th, 93, in a prison cell, I got sober. I was doing a life sentence. I know I don't look like a lifer. I don't look like a criminal today. I don't live like a criminal today. But up to that point where I found help, that's all I knew. It was my way of life. I carried so much pain and hurt and anger. It drove me. And at some point, it just got to the point where it wasn't working anymore. Maybe you know something about that. Maybe you're at a point in your life where you're coming up against it and you're like, I don't like this. I don't like where my life is at or where it's going, and I want something better. There's a conversation there, because just like we could be addicted to drugs and alcohol, we can be addicted to a state of mind or a resignation to a place where we feel like okay, but we don't really like it, but it's what the best we'll ever get. And I don't really believe that. I can be addicted to a false narrative. And false narratives oftentimes take us out of ourselves. And we get lost chasing our identity or our validation and other things, people, places, and things. And it can be very detrimental to an individual's journey and path. Appreciate anybody joining in. I'm probably going to go 30 minutes tonight. Just going to kind of hang out with you. Oh, somebody's launching fireworks. Here it goes. Oh, come here, Bumble. Come on. You want to be a movie star? Okay, on. There you go, baby. And Autumn wanted some love. She don't like fireworks. There we go. I'm gonna get her all up in here. She's all snagged up with my jacket. Yeah, I know. You're my little sweetheart. You're a movie star, Autumn. Where you going, Mama? Looky. Ah, okay. Looky, you're on camera. So, Autumn has a phobia and an addiction to being anxious about pretty much anything. I don't even know who's sending me love and hearts, but I appreciate it. Yams, you still hanging out with me, man. God bless you, brother. Something about YouTube and seeing stuff gets it all screwed up. But the thing about it is that there's hope. There's hope for us, no matter what we're going through. Um, if you're depressed, if you're lonely, if you're sad, if you're carrying some stuff that's happened in life, you can change that path now. You can come back. You can find a healthier life. It's never too late. If you had told me 32 years ago when I first got sober in that AdSeg cell in prison that I'd have the life I have today by following some simple directions and moving in a different direction, I'd have thought you were crazy. It wasn't just about getting sober from alcohol and drugs, it was learning how to live life. It was learning how to be a better person. Um, the picture on my banner for this really shows that was my baby picture. I was 20 years old in that photo. If you go back and you watch this later on, thank you. And it's one of those things that I never thought my problem was more than drugs and alcohol. And at one point, I realized that I was just as addicted to you liking me, or my thought of you liking me, or the validation you gave me for my identity and who I was, as I was ever to any drug or alcohol. For a lot of people, addiction to validation, acceptance, fitting in, those are really, really hard things to break. I mean, right now we have a world where everybody is just so polarized and there's no individuals, there's no identity, there's nothing outside of the hive mind. And that's scary. That's scary when, would you tell me, thank you. This is the Autumn. She's a palm shoot. She's a very beautiful girl. And it's scary when we don't have the reasoning skills to make choices for ourselves. And the choices we make are determined by external circumstances or what people say, what people do, and to fit in, to be accepted. No, I want to be able to fit in and be accepted for who I am, not for who you want me to be. I'm a good man. I care about people. I work every day to help people. What's happening here? Yam says hi. You want to say hi to Yam? Oh, yeah. She's a sweetheart. She gets really, really triggered. Some animals don't like fireworks, and where I live, every now and then these youngsters will blow off some of them big bombs, and she gets scared to death. So, Yam, where are you out of? Appreciate the hearts and the likes and the follows. If you want to follow and subscribe to my channel, I'd appreciate it. It goes a long way to help me expand and get more people brought into the hoop or into the loop to help them. Where are you out of, Yam? I'm a little closer than I normally am to the camera. So, oh, and I didn't put on do not disturb. So I'm probably going to get a phone call about halfway through this thing. That's okay. Oh, you want to go lay down in the bed? Okay, there you go. She's going to go lay down again. She gets hot. So, yeah, I just think that the more we can come together and help one another, and this is bigger than drugs and alcohol, that's what I work with on a day to day basis. But the bigger thing I work with is people finding a better way of life. Amen. God bless. I think it really is about us finding what gets between us. What holds me back from listening to you or you listening to me? What narratives or belief systems I was raised with or that I hold as like foundational. And I'm willing to fight to the end for it. And I could just be wrong. I have found in my own journey through life by listening to others and sometimes following direction that I wasn't always right and I could be a better person. I think when I can listen and respect and understand where another person's coming from, I can respect myself that much more. Um, Does anybody have any questions or struggles you're going through? I mean, I'm here for you. This is time I set aside for all of you that stop by and check in and say hi. Um, I just want to spend some time with you all in the world tonight, and whoever comes in and visits. If you have any questions or maybe share a success in your life, something positive that's happening as a result of putting in hard work, something of meaning and purpose to you. What's an experience where you could see change in your life or a shift towards something much better for you? uh, I see you. I think there's a lag tonight. The internet where I live is sometimes sketchy, so I appreciate you hanging out with me, Em. For me, I think it's just helping people, being human, recognizing when I'm wrong, being big enough to admit it, and just living a better life and caring about people just like I would want them to care about me. What's some positive stuff going on in your life, Yam? What's some things that you find that stand out to you in your journey? That's okay. If it's just you and me, somebody else popped in. It comes and goes. You know, people, I just want to be here. I'm going to continue to be here if it's just you and me. And have faith that who knows who the universe is going to bring through here that might hear a message of hope, a word of encouragement, or just hang out. I appreciate you hanging out with me. Nice. Baseball, what position you play? Outfield, infield? Yeah. Clean up my mess over here. Congratulations on the win. If you're coming in, we're just sitting here hanging out, talking about a positive life, what sobriety really is. Sometimes sobriety for me is sitting on my front porch just having gratitude for the life I have. A little peace of mind, a little peace of heart. Nice. Nice. Congratulations on the win again. You know, sometimes it's just nice to be quiet in here and in here. And I don't know, many times throughout life, you know, when we're growing up, when we're young, we feel that need to be liked, to fit in, to want to be a part of. Sometimes we compromise a part of ourselves for that, our integrity. we do things or we're around things that we normally wouldn't be around or do. Sunset, amen. I love sunsets. I love out in the desert. We drive out to Arizona and oftentimes up to Las Vegas for weekends, and the sunsets are beautiful. Absolutely. Um, have you ever been out in the desert and watched the sunrise out that way? There's a moment. There's a lot of gratitude to just be in that quiet space. Nice, nice. Yeah. Whew. Um, any questions, Yam, or anything you want me to share on or talk about? Any struggles you might be having, or suggestions you might be wanting, or just something like that? Keep the conversation flowing around, a better life, because that's really sobriety's about a better life. You live in Arizona. Oh, amen. I love out there. We go out to the Grand Canyon. Hey, Sim, God bless, brother. God bless. I believe I said that right. SLB, amen. Yeah, we're just sitting there talking about life and sobriety and what it's like to be free. What it's like to have a better life, what we enjoy, some experiences along the way. We were just talking about the desert and sunsets and stuff like that. And, Yams here and I were chalking it up. I love going out to Sedona, Williams, the Grand Canyon. Yep. Those are some of the best places I think I've visited. There's a few holy places. I call them sacred places, holy, whatever you want to call it. But I feel really grounded and attuned to nature when I go to Sedona or the Grand Canyon, that whole area. The other one is Northern California and the redwoods, out in the redwood, old growth redwood forests. And um, I love Kauai. I love that island. It's the original island where all of everything Hawaii started. And it hasn't been commercialized. You can still just be and feel that sacred land and that sacred space with the universe. And it's special to me. Those are things that have meaning to me. Let me see what you're chalking up here. You still won the game though, right? You didn't quit. Yams. Yeah, I've got a few boo boos from playing sports. A few teeth, these are all fake. Lost a few, broke a few off. You see. Thank you very much, brother. If you could drop a subscribe and a like, I'd appreciate it. It goes a long way to help me grow this station and reach more people. I'm going to be coming out with some stuff here in the next coming weeks talking about transformation and transforming and improving our lives. And you're always welcome to chime in. I'll be posting when I'm going to do them. So I appreciate you. Thank you so much. I mean, it's just, I, I do this all day, is just hanging out with people, talking about life. Sometimes somebody's going through a struggle, and sometimes we just hang out. Amen. Appreciate you. And I want to do more of these lives. What are some? Would you think I should do these things 2 or 3 times a week, or just like one solid day a week? Because I mean, I like hanging out with people, getting to know new people. What makes you guys tick? What's going on? Yeah, more. Yeah. Um, and I could do these a few nights a week for an hour, half hour, an hour, and check in with you. I'll see how you're doing. That's really what I want this space to be about: is helping people live a better life. And if you have a loved one or a family member or someone that you know that needs help, you could drop me a DM or send me a message, and I will reach out. Whew, the tired bug is starting to catch up to me. Ugh. So yeah, I mean, really, I want to go back to the beginning of this. We got a few minutes left. Addiction. What is an addiction? Addiction is a habit. A habit is something you practice over and over and over until it becomes like second nature, like tying your shoes or playing baseball. And then if you incorporate into it a pain, a hurt, something that I feel attached to that I can't change, that I feel justified in carrying, somebody hurt my feelings, somebody let me down, somebody said something. In my head, it sets this thing of feeling less than or upset or hurt. And every time that I have to keep repeating that, or I do something over and over aggressively, or I'm very passive and I don't give myself a right to voice my opinion, what happens? I get angry. I don't feel valid. I don't feel like I'm seen. Maybe I isolate. Maybe I turn to drugs and alcohol or some bad behavior, and my life goes down the hole. And I don't believe in right or wrong or good or bad. I think if we can just come together and have a good conversation and look at life in a real way and see the problems and see the negative places, we could find the solution. And once we find the solution, we can actually start moving and working into a different direction. I started this live about 26 minutes ago. Yeah, about 26. It's slow tonight. Some nights it'll go 20, 30 people, and some nights it's one or two or five, and then it just goes up and down. Yeah, I'll probably go another 5 or 10 minutes, just hang out. I got to get up in the morning and go take a TB test for work. When you work in the field around people in a hospital setting, helping people, they make you go through all these dang tests and prods and pokes. And so, but that's okay. If all I got to do is a TB test to go help people, then that's what I'll do. Oof, it's got toasting. I got the heater on here in the office. Um, any last things you want to hear or talk about? What's something positive in your life today that happened, Yams, before we go? What's something positive that you felt in your soul, in your heart, that you caught or saw today before we close tonight? Give me one thing, one positive thing for the day, one thing of gratitude for today. And I'm going to wait. Think about it. I definitely know there's a delay in this thing. Amen. Are you more of a person that likes to help people, or are you someone that likes people to help you? Are you a giver or a taker? You sound to me like you're a giver and a caring person. Amen. Amen. God bless. Well, if there's anything I can do to help you, and I mean this, you can always email me at info@lifeoveraddiction.com. Let's start a conversation. Maybe you can come on here one night. We'll talk about life. But let's stay in touch. Let's keep doing the work. What is today? Today is Wednesday. Saturday night I'm going to go live again. I hope you show up, and we'll see you then. I appreciate you being here, and I thank you for your time and for your support. And have a blessed night, my friends. Peace. I'm gonna wait a few seconds while this thing unwinds because I'm still getting used to it. All right, bud. Peace out.